So I don't know if this silence means nobody or all. Not yet? Okay, it's a little bit late because downloading 1.5 gigabyte file, it cannot be done in few seconds. And we need this file for today's workshop. For those who have not downloaded, of course, you can follow on the screen the exercise. For those who have downloaded the file, then you can follow step by step with us on your PCs. Of course, we do exercises in a slow pace, so we can follow together. Yes? Yes, that is correct. I will show you how we work with that file. It's a zip file. Inside there is only one file, which is also big. That is the image of a DVD. And the extension of the file name is ISO. So after the first presentation, which takes few minutes, we will work on that file, and then we start the practical sessions. Okay. This morning we will start with the explanation about the BRIFIC. BRIFIC, which stands for BR, International Frequency Information Circular. Probably most of you have already been working with this publication, or you are familiar with it, but we quickly refresh our knowledge about it together. So this publication contains a big database containing the frequency assignments and allotments which are submitted by the administrations. It is published every 2 weeks, so twice or sometimes 3 times a month, depending on the calendar. And it helps the administrations to consult this information and also create electronic notice files. Since January 2025, this publication became available free of charge for all users in the administrations, meaning that all your colleagues in your administrations who have a TIES account can freely access this publication on the website. Of course, those users outside administrations, for example, universities, private companies, people who are not working in the administration, they have to pay a fee. So through this web page, of course, you can access terrestrial BRIFIC and a space BRIFIC. I assume a space BRIFIC is already explained yesterday. So today we are only focusing on the terrestrial BRIFIC. So the BRIFIC was and still is published in DVD format, but more and more administrations are downloading it from the website. So this DVD contains 3 types of information. It contains a series of documents, then a big database, and some tools, some software. The database contains, of course, we can categorize the information in the database in 3 categories. First category is the MIF, Master International Frequency Register, which contains all frequencies used worldwide again notified to the ITU. This part is very important. These are the frequencies which are notified to the ITU, which may be different from the real usage in every country. Notified to ITU and are in conformity with the radio regulations. Then this database, this part of the database contains 4 parts. Part 1. Part 1 is the acknowledgement of receipt, meaning that when you submit a notice which is complete and correct to the Bureau, then the Bureau will publish it in Part 1. Meaning that when you see your notice published in Part 1, so okay, you can be sure that the BR will continue examining this notice until the end. So this is Part 1. Then we have 2 parts, Part 2 and Part 3. If the notice successfully finishes all examinations and it is all the findings are favorable, then the notice will be, the frequency assignment will be published in Part 2, meaning that it will be entered in the master register. But if, unfortunately, your notice, your frequency assignment has some regulatory problems, coordination information are missing, or it has some inconformity with a plan, then that notice will be published in Part 3 of the briefing, and it will be returned to your administration. At the same time that it is published in Part 3, the Bureau will send you also a letter explaining the reasons why this notice is published in Part 3. This was explained 2 days ago by Anna. She explained what are the possible reasons that a notice may be returned. At the end, we have Part 2B. This is a special part that you don't see this part in every briefing. Usually after every conference, the Bureau needs to review the findings based on the changes in the allocations, in the conditions, and so on and so forth. So usually after every conference, we have several assignments for which their findings are reviewed and they are published in Part 2B. Okay? Then we have the part which concerns the plans. Of course, in this region, this part is not really that much concerned, except RJ81, RJ88. For example, if you have a frequency broadcasting station which falls in this plan, Rio de Janeiro 81, then you can go under plans and then find that plan assignment there. Okay, I will skip this part. Then we have other information like worldwide plans, which are appendices 25, 26, 27, concerning aeronautical mobile and maritime mobile services. Then we have reference tables, like the country codes, station types, and all those things. These are reference tables. And then frequencies for common use. Okay, in every domain or like service type, because we have 3 domains in this database. One domain is fixed and mobile, one domain is broadcasting in VHF band, and the other domain is broadcasting in LF and MF bands. The broadcasting part has these fragments. So the first part, which is very much used, is known by these 2 symbols, RR11, which is the short of Radio Regulations Article 11, or NTFDRR, which means notified according to the radio regulations. All others, which are below, refer to their corresponding plan. For example, ST61 is the Stockholm 61, then we have RJ81, then all other plans. So most of them are not applicable in this region, except that RJ81. For fixed and mobile, similar structure. Again, we have RR11 or NTFDRR. Additionally, we have RR9 for the coordination request that was explained in detail 2 days ago. And the rest are again for the plans, either worldwide, Appendix 25, 26, 27, or regional plans. Okay, this part is, I already explained. The other part of this package is the tools. So we have two tools in this package. One is called TerraQ, which is used to consult the database. You know, when you have a big database, you need a tool to go inside, find the information, filter information, especially if the database is about 6 gigabytes and like 4 million records here and there. So we need a tool, and that tool is TerraQ. We will see shortly how to work with TerraQ. The other tool is called Terra Notices. Terra Notices, as I mentioned earlier during the week, is used to create notice files. We will work a lot with this tool during today. Then we have two documents in this package. One is the preface to the briefing. This document is a big PDF file, something around 400 pages, and it contains reference tables like polarization type, type of power, nature of service, class of stations, all the codes that you may need to create a notice file. Then we have the other file, which is called README. That README contains usually 1 to 3 pages. It briefly explains what are the changes in this briefing. For example, number of notices which are published in part 1, 2, 3, number of special sections or plans which are considered under this briefing. And if there are any major changes, for example, if after a conference there has been a huge change in the database, or some findings are reviewed, and so on and so forth. So this is just a summary of the important things happening in this briefing. So the briefing will look like this. So we will see it in a few minutes. And this is the installation package. So as soon as you open the package, you will see this screen, and then you can choose the language, and you can follow the screens. This is the briefing web page. That through this web page, of course, you can see at the bottom of the page, you see the list of all the briefings already published with some hyperlinks in front of each briefing. So you can see the list of notices published in part 1, 2, 3, different special sections which have been published in that briefing, the README of that specific briefing, and so on and so forth. So, and then at the top of the page, there is a link to the briefing online. With your TIES account, you can log in and see the briefing without downloading it, and all this information. That link, which I just mentioned earlier, is temporary. It's not always available. We make it available only for seminars like this. So This is especially provided for this session. This is the briefing online that I mentioned, that when you click on that login box in the briefing page, then you are redirected to this page, and then you can choose the briefing that you want. And if we have time today, then we will also work on this page. I will show you very quickly. Okay, so this presentation is finished. Now, what we are going to do is that I'm going to open the zip file that we downloaded, and we will see how to work with it. Okay. So I don't know if how it is visible for you. So when you unzip the zip file, you will see a file which has the extension of ISO. Okay. It is very simple. Usually, if you double click on this file, then you will notice that on the left side of the screen, a DVD is created for you. Oh, it takes a while. Okay. Does this work for you? Okay, my PC is a little bit tired in the morning, so yes, not yet woke up, yeah. Okay, then I say open. When you open the file, you see what happened here. A DVD is shown, but I don't have a DVD here. So that image is opened as a physical DVD. So you click on that DVD, and then you see the files. In that DVD, you have a file which is called briefing.exe. Okay, so you see here, this is the DVD which should be created on your PC. And when you click on this, then you will see this file. Okay, and then when you run this file, okay, you may see this page. You go to more info, and you click on run anyway. This may happen on some Windows 11 PCs. Okay, now we see this screen that I was showing in the presentation file. Everybody, do we have any problem on some PCs, or you could reach here? Okay. So now you can select the language and then click on accept license. When we are here, then of course there are several buttons here: contact us, database structure, and so on. We have two important buttons here. One is install briefing. This is used when you have a physical DVD and you want to install it on your PC and share the DVD with other colleagues. But in this case, we have everything on our PC. Everything is in that ISO file. So we don't need to install it. Of course you can do that. That is an option. It will take just few minutes. It is very fast. But this is not really necessary. If you have space on your computer, you can start installing it. So click on install briefing. And then click on yes on all the buttons, or next. So you click next, then don't touch the path or nothing, then next, again here next. Make sure that this thing is selected. Next, and we click on install. Okay? While it is installing, so please click on install. I have already installed, so I will not repeat that. I will continue explaining the other important button, which is the first one. When you click on the first one, it opens the content of this briefing. So the first part is the database. Second part, those two software tools. And the last part, those two documents that are included in the briefing. Okay? So let's start with the first button, latest publication. When you click on that, you will see a hyperlink here. By clicking on this link, it will open a tool which is called TerraQ. It takes a while. Okay. Okay. Now let me just do it like this because it is so small. Okay. Now I make a zoom. So this is how it looks like. This is a very simplified version of TerraQ. So as you see here, there are three tabs on the top. Then here it shows the current briefing number, which is 3077. The date of publication 4/8, so it is very new. Then you have several boxes underneath. The first box is the part about MIF. This part about MIF, as you can see here, you have part 1, and then under part 1 there are something like 4,000 notices published, and all are in fixed and mobile. Then you have part 2 here. For part 2 you have 4,000, and only 32 are related to fixed and mobile in VHF, UHF bands, and the other part, all of them relate to fixed and mobile. At the end, you have part 3 containing 8 notices, which this part is returned, meaning that they have received unfavorable finding. 1 is VHF, UHF broadcasting, 7 fixed and mobile. Okay? Then when we go down, then you see another special section, Geneva 06. It is not concerned by this region. And this one, we have the special section, Geneva 06L for fixed and mobile. Again, it is not for this region. When we scroll down a little bit, then at the bottom of the page, you see the interesting part, which is 921, which was explained the other day by Anna, the details. So these are special sections related to 921. And you see we have 921C, 921 part D, which are published. All these hyperlinks, okay, of course you can click and see the content. Let's start with this part 3. We want to see which notices are returned. So we click on the first one, then there is this message here, and then we click on load. When we load this, then we will see this table containing the list of those 8 notices which are returned. Let's start, for example, with this last one. When you double-click on every line, every row of that table, you can see the contents of that notice, all the details. For example, that last line is a T11 notice. T11 was related to the fixed station in the fixed service. And it was received at this date from this administration. Administration D is Germany. And then all this information, it was intended to be recorded in the master register. Then we have the emission characteristic. So you see the frequency there. This was the frequency, 6.5 megahertz. Then these are the emission classes of emission, and then this is the nature of service and bandwidth and so on. Then the antenna characteristic is here. You can see the power to antenna, gain, then elevation angle, and all those things. Here it shows the receiving station because it's a fixed link, international. So it goes to the other country. It's probably a link between an embassy with the headquarters and all the other information about this. Now we go to this part, finding information. As you see here, this line is red. We have here REX. REX, as it was explained the other day, stands for regulatory examination. And according to this regulatory examination, this is unfavorable, based on this footnote. So here the information is very, very short. very brief. That is why at the same time of that this notice is published here, the Bureau prepares a letter explaining the story, saying that, okay, in this footnote it is written this and that, and then your notice contains this information which is in contrary with this information, and that is why it is written. So let's see another example that is, okay, this is broadcasting, Geneva 06, not really important. Okay, this one. This one is from India. The notice type is T14. Later this afternoon, we will see this type of notice, which is a typical station. Station type, class of station is FL, TP, and so on. Then we go to finding. You see, it is again REX, regulatory examination failed, but there is no reference here. In this case, we have another screen, which is called remarks. And here you see that there is still no more information. In such cases, usually either the main reason is that this station type is not allowed in that band for that specific country. And these will be explained in the letter to that administration. Okay? So I will leave this part to you so you can play with it whenever there is time. I have to speed up a little bit because we have another interesting point after this. So let us do an exercise together by using the TerraQ. So did you install all this tool or not? Okay, so we continue without installation. If you are all in this screen, everybody can see this screen on the PC. Click on this TerraQ. Click on this TerraQ button here. And then click on this TerraQ here. Like this, it will run the tool directly from that ISO file. So you don't need to, in case you have not installed it, so still you can run. So, are we all here? Everybody sees this screen? Okay. So, now let me go to there is another presentation on the web, which is this one. It contains several exercises. This is a list of exercises. Of course, we will not have time to do all of them. We will just focus on one. I think the second one is a little bit more interesting. And let me just expand it. So the TerraQ enables us to do these kind of things. For example, you have a frequency, you have a location, but you don't know anything more about this. We want to use TerraQ to see where this assignment is located, belongs to which country, what is the service type, station type, and so on. Okay? Now, let's go back to TerraQ. Okay, it's not showing. Okay, at the top of the page, there is one button, the left side, that is called New Query. This is the starting point when you want to find something, specific information in TerraQ. When we click on that, you see here, I don't know if it is readable, or you can check on your PC. You see that there are 4 types of queries available. First one is GPQ, General Purpose Query. This is the most complicated query. So you can search for information in the whole database since beginning. The second one is latest publication query. It only focuses on this briefing. For example, you cannot go there and search for a frequency which is published like 3 years ago. It's not there. Then you have a SQL query. This is for advanced users. If you know the database structure, if you know SQL language to how to interact with the database, then you can use this one. And the last one is quick query. If you don't want to be bothered with complex screens, then there are 3 types of queries which are frequently used by the users, and they are created here. So let's start with the first one. So we choose GPQ, and then we click on OK. Okay, now let me make it a bit shorter, smaller, and then I zoom. Okay, this is the screen for the query. So the main part, it needs to know which domain of the database it should go and search for the information. The exercise that we had only has one frequency and a location. We don't know if it is broadcasting, fixed and mobile, and so we select all domains. Pay attention what happens in here as soon as I select that thing. There are several things which are added here. Because some of them are specifically related to fixed and mobile, some of them are related to broadcasting, some of them are general. So these are the screens that we have to define our criteria. So we are going to search in all domains, means the whole database. Here we can choose either we look for pending assignments. Pending means those which are not yet published in Part 2 or Part 3. They are still pending, not yet done, the examination. Or we want to focus on the common frequencies and registered frequencies. So still we don't know that. We only know the frequency and location. So we don't touch this part. Then if we click on administrative data, then we can provide other kind of queries, other type of criteria. Here you see that you can say in which fragment you want to search, what is the ID of the assignment, for which administration, and so on. We don't have any information for the moment about this part, so we leave it. We only know the frequency. So we click on frequency data. Then we have the frequency value. We have to first select here in this box f equal f1. Okay. Then we go here. What was the frequency? The frequency is 143.59. megahertz. We should pay attention to the unit. And then always we need to click on this plus. Let me zoom out a little bit to show you why. And I will make it a little bit bigger. Okay, you see here it is written selected criteria and it is empty. If we don't click on this plus, it will not take this thing into consideration. So now this is the selected criterion. So the frequency is this. The other condition that we have is the location. So we click on geographic data. We have to have somewhere to type the coordinates. We click on geographic area specification, which is here. Then we have one point here. This is the point that we have. So we go back to this screen. Here we have, okay, inside the rectangle, outside of the rectangle, including the borders and so on. We click this one inside a circle. Then we enter the coordinates here in this box. So the coordinates. Longitude is 65, 24, 30. And then here, be careful, choose west. Then latitude is 24. 47 and 22. Again, we pay attention to this. It is south. And you put something like 5 kilometers here. Because we don't have a point in this geographical processing. We can define a circle which is very small. That will be treated as a point. And again, we don't forget to click on this plus. Now, we should be okay. We click on this execute button, which is in the right side. And you see here, this is the result. So this is the query that we have created. And as the result, it shows that there is one assignment found in FXM domain. Do we all see this screen? No? Yes? No? Yes. Okay. So when you click on load, which is in the top right, then, okay, now here I think I need to zoom a little bit. Here you see that this assignment is this one. The frequency, you see that is correct. It's only one line. Okay, we need to see the details. We double click on this thing. Okay, here it shows that it is a T12. T12 is a base station in land mobile service. It's from country Argentina. It was received March this year. Then we have under emission, we see the frequency, and then under antenna, we see the information about the antenna. This is the receiving area. it shows the location of the base station, and the area which is covered is a circle with a radius of 15 kilometers. And you see that all information is available here for the reference. And here we see that under finding information, the regulatory examination has been favorable. That is why it is now recorded in the master register. So, any questions so far? So I have to stop here. This was the everything about, of course, some just quick overview about the briefing and TerraQ. So now Anna will explain some more interesting topics, and then we continue with other things. Thank you very much. Of course, at any time you can raise your questions if there are any questions. Thank you.
Good morning to everybody. I would like to continue our workshop with showing you some online tools which we have, which actually support the same kind of activities like what someone was just explaining. So the idea of creation of those tools were to have provide opportunities to administrations to go online. So meaning that, for example, the briefing which you were just working with would be possible to also address being online. Of course, it is not providing all the features because you are working only with the live version, and the queries are a little bit different, but in case if you need to consult some information online with at any moment without having this briefing at hand, you will have such an opportunity. So the background of these activities actually started with our colleagues from Broadcasting Division, and actually the online tools exist starting 2006. But in our site, the fixed mobile services, we started working on these tools in 2024 and added the complete page, which is eFXM, which is dedicated to fixed mobile services. In addition, also Broadcasting always was working with these e-propagation tools, which would allow the calculation of prediction for the signals propagation according to ITURRS recommendations of propagation. And we participate in its activities too. Now we took one of the recommendation on propagation and made a tool which would allow calculate the coverage, etc. We will see in my presentation how it works. So I go then directly to the e-terrestrial eFXM. So far, these three online tools are ready. So it is eQuery FXM, ePub, EMI administration. Two last ones are dedicated to this special sections, which someone was just showing to you. As you can see in briefing, you can just see number of these special sections, and these online tools would allow to consult information with a little bit more detailed way, and also it allows query them, because briefing, well, provide some possibilities, and these tools provide some other ones. My admin FXM is really about dates, delays, reminders. So I will not really stop on these ones because your administrations usually don't have a special section. I just will explain principles of these tools, and I will rather concentrate on e-propagation, which probably would be interesting for you to use. So how it is to be found? Very easily. So on the web page of radio communication, one should go to terrestrial. There are actually two ways to address them. Either, as you can see from the left at the right side, there is opportunity to go through the dedicated page, terrestrial. We will then go. I just provide you some insights, and then we go really through all the process. So variant one is to go to terrestrial, and there all this list of tools will be available. Variant two, to go to, from radio communication, to go to inside of terrestrial services, find the fixed mobile services, and then there is a big logo of this, as you can see at the left, a big logo with stations, antennas. You click on it, and then you're in these tools. So the tools are also in the screen, which is in the middle. Each of them has also then afterwards its dedicated page. So here we see how this page appears. It appears with these different tools. And the one I'm talking about is in the middle. This is inside of the yellow rectangular. To access it is just necessary just to click to go to EFXM. When we arrive to the EFXM platform page, we see these four options. So far, these three are already available. eQuery, ePub, MyAdmin, FXM are available. We are working on this eTools. eTools exactly actually the ones will be using the e-propagation and then will provide a little bit more elaborate product. But so far, this part is introduced into the e-propagation, which we will look a little bit later. Let us start with eQuery. We will see how it works. What is this eQuery? As I already said, the tool, the idea was to address the database, our main database, the briefing and plans. In the main selection, we can exactly choose in between MIFR, which we are going to query, or a plan. So this sometimes is important because we sometimes are not interested to check the assignments in the MIFR. We are only interested to see what are in the plan. So that's why there is actually selection, immediately the pre-selection, what we are going to query. Then the query type selection is like general. It reminds a little bit what Saman was just explaining. Or it's possible to ask for some statistics on class of station. For example, if your administration is interested to check how many classes of for example, only land mobile stations, for example, the IMT stations, it checks for the period, for some period. It makes then a selection of the class of station, of data. Statistics will be available for the administration. And the query results, so they give the list of those assignments and allotments which would satisfy the search criteria. That's how it looks. This is a page where we have in green the menu selection. So here we can choose, as you can see, for example, here it is all FXM, so meaning that all the domain FXM, plan, both plan and MIFR is selected. If you go down, so it will be just MIFR, or then we can choose in between of plans which are of our interest. To the right in blue, we can see that there is a query type selection, so there we can check class of station, and some technical statistics will be then provided in accordance with that. So then the search criteria also is reminding a little bit the one of the one which is used in briefing. We can choose our administration or geographical area even. If our administration, for example, has different geographical areas, is the type of notice, class of station, or just a frequency band, or just, for example, the time period which is interesting for us to check. So there are different ones. We'll also look at it a little bit later, really, in the example. So these are the results. They are provided straight below the page with our input, which is in white. It is just our input, and in red, the results. So it is on the same page. Then we can go into each notice and check the parameters which are associated with that. So this is just done with one click. One is just clicking the number of this notice and has the result on the next page. This is actually the next page. So this is all about the ITURRS. So we will try with you then when I will explain further this presentation, we will check how does it work. So another tool is eFXM EPUB. So why I say eFXM? Because actually the broadcasting also has EPUB. So we created our own one. This is dedicated only to the special sections under our responsibility. So it is the plans and exactly the 921 coordination procedure. It is the same approach. We go to the EPUB through clicking on it. So the features of EPUB it's a little bit like also the searching engine, which allows us to search by the briefing number, administration, ref ID, etc. They are classical ones. But what is important is that main summary page provides us immediately in which special section the assignments can be found. That is actually what is a bit different from ITURRS. Information on that, if one is going through classical search, exactly like using the one Saman was just showing, that information will not be immediately available. To have this information, one needs to go to the details of notice. In this tool, it's a little bit different exactly. It shows immediately in which special section assignment can be found. And it is allowing also to show the process, because first assignment is published in Part C, when the results are received in Part D. In such a way, we can associate our assignment with the coordination process. So then the summary page would provide additional details. And also, what is interesting to know is that as a result, we can again have all the details of a notice. So more or less, it is a classical way to see our notice, but through additional information associated with the publication in special sections. So here we see the main page of input parameters for the EPUB. First of all, it works for two types of special sections. Here it is 921, which is exactly applicable to your region. By selecting 921, we go to domain of only, which will only show the special sections, which are published in accordance with this procedure. So then in selection menu, we can choose notices for our administration. We can then put not only your own administration, but so it is as notifying administration, let's say yours, as well as affected administration. This is also very important, because if I ask myself whether I was affected by some assignments in the last special section. It is not immediately visible. Through this tool, this information immediately is given. So meaning that your administration not only sees their own assignments, but also the one your administration is identified as affected. This helps in the process very much, actually. So the first page arrives in this way. You can see that there is some red dates, which are in red. These are the active dates. They are the dates showing that the coordination process is still going on. As far as also very important parameter applicable to the coordination process under 921 is this coordination period of 4 months. Here we keep these dates of when the coordination period is finishing, showing it immediately to administration in red, that it is still ongoing, that the next step, which is publication of results in Part D, is not yet available. So here exactly we see the exactly this page again with also this active dates in red, but also in addition we see that some of parts D are already published. Yeah, it's some of them already exist. So on this page we can see already the process. Part C published, Part D published, then how many administrations, so how many assignments per special section. So it gives this kind of information. And by clicking on the number of special section, we can address it. So here's exactly the example of how this information to be understood. On the administration RFID is already providing the information about the assignment we are talking about. So it is in the first column. Then we have its details, frequency band, name of the station, coordinates, and then we see which special section was published in order that this assignment is in coordination process. That was in this case 1042. It was a special section Part C, and then when all the agreements were received, the special section Part D was published and has different number. Also here, very important to say is that afterwards, was the idea of when the coordination was finished successfully, the idea then for us is to notify the same station for the publication in MIFR. And you can see that the last column is exactly giving information about the corresponding BRID number of this assignment in MIFR. So here we can see that process is finished. This assignment went through procedure of 921. The special sections, all special sections were published, all agreements received, and afterwards this assignment was notified and for publication in MIFR, it was published in MIFR. So in such a way, this page is giving complete information of all the process, starting from notification for agreement seeking process up to registration in the database. So also clicking, in one click one receives all the information about this assignment. This is classical approach. So also we quickly go through EPUB information. And now I would like to go to the additional tool under our responsibility. As far as we participate in this e-propagation project of all the ITURRS shell, it is not to be found in the EFXM page, but on the main page of ITURRS shell. So e-propagation, you see here it is differently placed. The approach is the same. In order to go to the page of this tool, we have to go to the to click to go to the propagation. we arrive to this propagation page, and here the calculations are done through it is actually available for the ITURRS users. Here for the exercise we can use the specially created credentials like here, but in real life the ITURRS account is enough. So one is introducing here the ITURRS account, and calculation can be started. What it is actually the field strength calculation on demand. We're responsible for the recommendation 1812. This recommendation gives actually two types of propagation. It is point-to-point or point-to-area. And with us, so both of these modes were taken into account, and it's possible to calculate as this field strengths point-to-point in between two stations, in between of transmitter and receiver, as well as the point-to-area. Point-to-area, of course, is very interesting in case of using of mobile stations, because you have the transmitter and you have the zone where this transmitter is going to work, and in this case, this type, the point-to-area calculation is very interesting. So normally, as you can see, several recommendations are already available. So the calculation taking into account different type of propagation models. But we will concentrate here on 1812. When we were working on this project, actually we also created an explanatory document which can be found in the propagation documentation. And so this document, as you can see, is the last one, which is propagation prediction using recommendation 1812. There, by the way, there is a small explanation how it works. So actually that document is not bad, because it really goes step by step and explaining input parameters, output parameters. So actually should be useful. So this is this first page of the point-to-point mode. Here we have to introduce ourselves the parameters for both receiver and transmitter. So you can see for transmitter we put the frequency and we put the geographical coordinates. So the power has to be introduced and antenna height. Usually you have its really classical basic parameters. They're usually available even in every kind of license. So it's possible usually to find these parameters rather quickly. For receiver, we also just need the antenna height and the geographical parameters. Environment also. Environment, by the way, at the right, you can see that the environment is already set, and it is the one which is set by the recommendation itself. So normally these parameters are like that. So you can choose in between two modes. All this all this information, all these details are taken from recommendation itself. And so just filling this small form, so geographical coordinates, frequency, the power and antenna height, we submit for the calculation. This is a little bit this process is going through sub-etaps, a little bit like, if somebody knows already, a little bit like e-validation. So it is information is not immediately arriving. You have to go to couple of etaps, but they also kind of rather easy. So you arrive to this page, and you see that this calculation has a job ID. And in such a way, of course, you can also then identify it by your own administration, and then you have to go back to the calculation summary in order to see that the job is finished. In this very situation, this job ID, status success, so our calculation is ready. Next step is also the approach. Normally now tools as usual is the same. You have to click on the number. In this case it is job ID. One has to click and one is arriving to the results. Results is provided in this form. Well, as you can see here, it is both table, graph, distance, and the field strength. Well, can be used in your further calculations. So now quickly about the pointer area mode. It's a little bit different. Here, well, as far as we are working with one transmitter in its zone, we will see how the energy is distributed and to which zone will be covered. We just put frequency, we put the geographical coordinates, again, power, antenna height, but for receiver, we just give the wanted field strength. And so actually it is important because exactly it will be calculated how much coverage will be possible. So antenna height also, of course, environment as usual is given in accordance with what is set by the recommendation. Same principle, so next page we will receive the job ID. Clicking on job, so going back to results, one is receiving the information whether our job is finished. It is finished here, success. Then we click again on the job ID number, and we have our results. Here the results are given in the form of this map. So actually there was already information which kind of geographical data is used, right, in case it can be found in this presentation. So this is a contour where the wanted field strength is exceeded, so it's further than this contour. So this calculation then can be useful to be used in the coordination, for example, with your administration, or when your network is planned. So thank you very much. Actually, I'm ready to go then to the our website to show how it goes step by step. So I'm already in terrestrial. Would you like that I start here, or you would like that I start with the broadcasting, with the BR web page? To save time, I think it's already good. We are in. So let's start with here. So we are ITURRS, AFXM. First we go to the eQuery. Go to eQuery. It's not showing, that's not good. 1 second, thank you. I have a different page.
When you do this, then it goes under extended. It is extended. You have to go to duplicate.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Okay, then we start with the Radio Communication Bureau page. Terrestrial is to be found here. So this will be then the approach number 1 to go through ITURRS. It's here at the corner of the page. Working like that. So EFXM. Our tools, eQuery. Go to eQuery. So we arrive to the main page. And well, I propose, for example, to make a small query depending on date. For example, we take a date 1st of February 2025. It will be the date, limit date from where the search is going up to today, for example. Doesn't give me the... And if we ask to find everything which we have for the administration of Brazil, for example. So we selected our administration of Brazil. We put here the dates. We put apply. So here, this is the result. There are the stations which were registered. By the way, here we have this information that it is recorded for those stations which were received in between of these dates. Each of assignment can be then addressed through the number. Next page will arrive with its detailed information about this assignment. You see here everything, including which finding it received, the publication and briefing is indicated, and which one, part 1, part 2, received finding, information about stations, associated stations, transmitter, receiver, geographical information, etc. So in such a way, so we made a small query about our administration, receives the data very quickly. Some questions about that? Well, you can try to play with it. As you can see, it is quickly accessible through our website. If you have some additional ideas of parameters, you can try to play with it and ask questions. Again, as I said, you can either put a frequency, so here you can choose in between frequencies, classes of station, notice type, administration, and even geographical zones. Okay, good. Okay, then we go to EPUB. I will show you how EPUB is working. So we are back to our main page. EPUB is here. Go to EPUB. So we arrive at this default page with the coordination procedure of 921 with exactly the special sections which in process, so red dates, meaning that the coordination process is ongoing, not yet finished. Below we have those cases where coordination already finished and the part D with results for this coordination process already published. And we have two special sections where the part D is under preparation. So that's why there is nothing here, but because it will be in next briefing and then will also appear in this page. For example, we let's say that I really check this information and I, for example, see that administration of Egypt is my neighbor, and I suddenly see that administration of Egypt has a special section. So I would like to check whether I'm in the special section. So I open the special section. see the assignments which are associated with it, and see the list of affected administration per assignment. So, and for example, Sudan is one of the affected administrations, Libya, etc., Jordania. For example, if I'm administration of Jordania, I see my name, I can check which assignment is involved, and knowing its characteristics which are here, I can check already whether I'm really affected, whether I can give the agreement to this assignment to administration of Egypt or not. So this is more or less the idea of providing this information quickly online. So now let's go to the propagation. So was it just we'll need again someone do you remember quickly the password and the, so it's the W. It is there. Okay, good. RRC. Yes. So after 2026. But I need the arrow. If somebody follows, is it okay? Would you like to see this credentials, or I can continue? Would you like somebody, those who would like to followed, I can continue? Okay, thank you. Sign in. So the selection of recommendations or the calculation will be based on to be found here. And so we are speaking about the 1812, first of all, point to point. With a new calculation. We put frequency, but let's say we can keep this one, for example. Here we have to remember our geographical coordinates. Somebody will be able to give me a hint. So in my exercise, I quickly check. So, for example, there is here an example for, but one would just try to change the coordinates to South America. We will see whether it will work. So I submitted this information. I received the job ID. I go back to calculation history. And I see for the time being, my file is in process. Calculation is going on. Waiting for it, I can try to go to point to area. Very easy, so actually one can go simultaneously to calculations if necessary. That is my last calculation, result of which I showed to you. What I would like to do is to use the input, because I already had, let's say, my station, I know its coordinates. I use, for the new calculation, the coordinates of the same station as an input. What it is exactly? So it is, this is geographical coordinates, so it's actually, I put the geographical point which would be next to this very place. We can change a little bit the geographical coordinates. Let's say we will put in minutes, we make a difference. Here, let's say we put 35. We change the power to, for example, 20, and we make antenna, put antenna higher. Or let's say lower, that our coverage zone is smaller. We will see whether it works or not. Then the receiver, we can keep the same field strengths, and we put antenna height lower using the same environment parameters. So we submit this for calculation. As usual, we receive immediately the job ID. Going back to calculation story, we also have information that so far it is in process. But we think maybe our point-to-point calculation is ready. We go back to the point-to-point. We see that our calculation successfully finished, and we look at the results. So, results are here. So the field strength is plotted. You see here there is no blue line because it is in C. There is no altitude. So we only have the field strength, and altitude is 0. Terrain altitude is 0 because we have chosen the point in the sea to calculate this field strength. So the results are provided in these two ways, the graph and the table. We can analyze it. And now we go back to our point to area calculation. It is still calculating. Of course, because there we also use the geographical data, which is very, which takes lots of space. So that is why usually this one is taking a little bit more time. So waiting for it, I can ask, so you can ask me questions if you have any. Maybe I quickly go back to point. Just to say that because it's possible to share the results, so it is also some features which can be important. We can display input parameters, so back our parameters which we introduced, especially probably important because we can reuse them as an input. Let's say receiving these results, then we think, okay, I'm not happy, let us change parameters, then you again take the input results, change those parameters, remake the calculation. As you can see, it takes not too much time, but I think quite useful for the analysis in our administration. Point to area, still in progress. Okay, so I think I can keep like that the screen when the results are available. We can check them. But we already can make a coffee break. Huh? Saman, what do you think? And then be back in 20 minutes. Is it okay? And then we will quickly check the results and Saman will continue with exercises. Is it okay? Okay, thank you very much then. Coffee break, thank you.